Hi, and welcome to Mr. Charles's Classroom, where I try to help you improve your English. In this series of videos, we're going to be looking at famous people who are not native English speakers, and we're going to rate their English and see how they can improve. In today's video, we'll be looking at Angelababy's English. She's a really famous singer and actress from China. We'll be looking at where she is strong and where she is weak, and we'll be correcting her as we go along. And at the end, I will give some advice and ideas on how she can easily improve her English, and maybe those ideas could help you too. So stick around. So I will be looking at her pronunciation, that is, how well she says words in English. I'll also be looking at her grammar, that is, how accurate her sentences are. Then I'll be looking at her vocabulary, that is, how many words does she use and how well does she use them. And finally, I'll be looking at the content of what she says. That is, does she make sense? Hi, I'm Mr. Charles and I've been teaching English as a second language for over 10 years. My channel is all about helping you improve your and your child's English speaking. So let's look at the interview with Angelababy. She's been interviewed by an Australian TV show, and the first question is something like, did you ever think when you were young that you would become a famous star?
No, never. When I was in school, I like to listen to the pop music, so I'm thinking maybe I would be a singer, or maybe I would be a songwriter, or maybe, I don't know. I never think about the future.
Okay, so I can see that she is not a very fluent speaker, but she's really trying hard to make sure she pronounces each word as clearly as she can. She's also staying within her comfort zone of English. That means she's saying the words that she knows, and maybe she's practiced some of these answers so she has an idea of what she's going to say. She can probably guess what kind of questions she's going to be asked as well. At the beginning of her answer, she says the word school, but she doesn't really pronounce the l sound at the end of the word. This is quite a tricky one to do, to pronounce the l sound at the end of a word. So she kind of says school, and it sounds like it ends in a w. In order to pronounce the l sound, if you want to practice this, you can split the word as school l and pronounce the l sound separately, school, and then put them together, school. The next little mistake that makes me realize she's not a really fluent speaker is when she said, I'm thinking. Now, the question was about the past, so she should answer, when she was young, she was thinking. So she could say something like, I was thinking that I wanted to be a singer, or I was dreaming about being a singer. But the key is that she says, I was, or she could use past simple and say, I thought, or I dreamed. Towards the end of that answer, she said, I never really think about the future. I think she didn't really mean this. I think what she meant was she thought or she had some dreams of being a singer, but she didn't think too much about them. She just thought about them a little bit and got on with her life.
And you do all of it. You sing, you act. Oh, yeah, I act, but sing is not good. Your singing's not good. I like singing, but I don't think it's good.
So this question and answer is quite interesting because the interviewer is trying to praise her and say something really positive, and Angelababy wants to show herself as being modest, so she's a bit shy and doesn't want to take the praise too much. So in the end she says, I act, but sing is not good. So maybe she wasn't 100% sure how to phrase it, and we can hear a few mistakes coming out because she doesn't fully know how to say the sentence that she's thinking. So instead of saying, I act but sing is not good, she could say something like, my acting is pretty good, but my singing is not as good, or I think I'm good at acting and my singing's not good. But maybe if you want to sound a bit more modest, you can say, I think my acting's okay, but my singing is not that good. So for the next question, I feel that this question coming up is one that Angelababy has been asked many times. She's probably done hundreds or maybe even thousands of interviews in her career, although most of them are going to be in her native language of Mandarin Chinese. She will still understand the question and what she wants to say. It's just whether she can explain herself in English. Let's have a look.
What do you enjoy about acting?
What is the joy about acting? Maybe every role has her own life and own friends, different story. I can meet all different kinds of people in there and experience the different kinds of life.
So the general point she's trying to make is that every role is completely different and she can immerse herself in a different world and be a different character and experience their life for a little bit while she's making that movie or show. What she actually said was every role has her own life, own friends, different story. Uh, Instead of role, probably she could use the word character because she's playing a character. That would be slightly more accurate than a role. The role is what you are doing in the movie. The character is the person you are becoming in the movie. So it's just slightly different, but we still understand what she means. Another small mistake she makes is using the word her. She says every role has her own life. The role can only have its own life because the role is not a person. If she uses the word character and she plays a female character, then she can use the word her. So next she says, I can met all different kinds of people in there. So again, I understand what she's saying, but it's not 100% fluent, and it's definitely something she can improve on. I think what she's trying to say is, when I play the roles, it allows me to meet all different types of people in those roles. For example, in the world that she inhabits when she's playing those characters, she meets the other characters in the story. So, in the next question, it's a little bit tricky because the interviewer is asking her about all of her social media followers, which is a lot. And how does it feel? Is she overwhelmed? And I think Angelababy does really well on this one. Let's have a look.
You have more than 60 million social media followers.
Oh, yeah.
That's 3 times the size of the Australian population.
Oh, wow.
Can it be overwhelming having so many people look at what you do every day, what you wear, what you say?
I think it's good.
It's good.
It's good, yeah, because I have a platform to say something and
The interviewer asked if she felt it's overwhelming to have so many people looking at what she does every day and what she wears and commenting about it, which is kind of understandable. Maybe that would be overwhelming for most people. And how Angelababy answered it is to say um, that she thinks it's good. She has the platform to talk to everyone and her fans and bring happiness to them. So I think she did really well there. And I'm sure that she's practiced that kind of question because she probably gets asked about that kind of thing a lot. So first off, it's her pronunciation. This is definitely the strongest part of her English. She takes the time to pronounce each word clearly and doesn't jumble up her words. Also, her accent is really good. You can tell she's really practiced this and practiced saying words clearly. I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 for pronunciation. Next up is her grammar. This is definitely her weakest area. And she makes up for her weak grammar by keeping her answers very simple and short and concise and making sure she says everything as clearly as possible. But her grammar is a little bit weak, especially tenses. We saw her making a few mistakes with tenses where she didn't use past tense when she should have done. I'm going to give her 2.5 for grammar. Next up is vocabulary. This is a bit difficult to grade her on because she's talking about things she always talks about. So I'm sure she's learnt the key vocabulary to make sure that her answers are going to be good. If I was giving her an English exam, I would ask her about some random topics that she doesn't usually think about in order to test her real range of vocabulary. However, she did use the words she knows pretty well. So I'm going to give her a 3 out of 5 for vocabulary. And the final category is content. Does she make sense in what she's saying? Do her points make sense? Again, this is slightly difficult because in an interview like this, you will know the kind of things you're going to be asked. So again, I'm going to give her a 3 out of 5. She did well and she answered the questions clearly. So we've got 4 for pronunciation, 2.5 for grammar, 3 for vocabulary, and 3 for content, giving her a total score of 12.5 out of 20. So overall, I can see that Angelababy is someone who didn't live in an English-speaking country for an extended period of time, and I guess that she learnt English when she was a little bit older. Maybe she did a few classes at school, but didn't really speak it that fluently. How can Angelababy improve her English? Well, my first idea would be practice. She already has a good enough understanding of English that she doesn't necessarily need an English teacher to guide her. She could simply get a friend who is a native English speaker and talk to them. If she practices speaking with a native English speaker for a few hours a week, or even half an hour a day, something like that, that is going to take her English to the next level. My second recommendation is how to improve her grammar. To do this, I would simply recommend that she reads more. That could be the newspaper, magazine, or books. She can read about things she's interested in English. And then she will see sentences written correctly using correct grammar. So that was my analysis of Angelababy's English and some ideas on how she can improve. Join me next time for my next famous person speaking English as a second language, and I'll give them some ideas as well. See you next time. Bye bye.